Hey Taurus, welcome to your weekly forecast from March 15th through the 21st. This is going to be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you happen to fall upon this video outside of the dates I just mentioned, don't you worry, my darlings. You're going to find the video whenever you're meant to find it, whenever you're ready for the messages. Keep in mind that this is a general reading, so not every single message is going to resonate. But if you've been led here, there's at least one thing in it for you. So take what resonates and leave the rest. Let's see what's going on here for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And your first card here is Queen of Swords. All right, I love it. Okay, Queen of Swords is when we get very, very clear about what we want and we don't allow for anyone or anything to get in the way of it. Okay, like when Queen of Swords comes up, we're laying down boundaries and we're not feeling bad about it. We're not feeling bad about it at all. Sometimes what happens when we're on a new path and we're awakening and we're healing, we try really hard not to judge other people, right? And we learn that we don't need other people's approval or other people's support. So even though there might be people in our life that don't agree with what we're doing or they're being negative about it, we're like, you know what? I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm not going to like write the person off. I'm going to understand where they're coming from. I'm going to understand that, they don't get it and we just kind of leave it be. But I feel, Taurus, that you're beginning to see that this is very draining in your energy, right? That holding space for these people who are being negative or they don't have the same vision as you, it's beginning to drain you. So with the Queen of Swords, I feel like you're coming into an energy this week where you're tightening your circle, and anybody who's not on board, anybody who's not supportive of what you're trying to do, you no longer have time for these people or for these individuals. You're really, really kind of limiting the access that they have to you. Some of you may be changing social media settings so that there's just people who can't see what you're posting. Some of you may be getting rid of social media. Some of you may be basically just really setting down a stricter schedule for yourself, and that you're turning your phone off. You're not going to have it on during certain hours. You're not going to be responding to people or responding to their text messages or phone calls. You're going to get to it later. You're really restricting, like I said, how accessible that you are. Okay, because there's a sense of like taking control of your time, taking control of your space that I'm feeling around this card as well. Okay, this little bird that's flying over her head just jumped out at me. So I feel like there might be an idea coming in for some of you where you're getting very focused on this idea and seeing it through, seeing it grow. And some of you are beginning to notice that anytime you're beginning to make progress, there are certain people that are very attached to you, very corded to you, that all of a sudden they begin to have emergencies. All of a sudden they need you. It's like the second things are going well for you, or the second you're making progress, something happens, right? It's the end of the world. They need your help. They're reaching out to you. You're not going to be available. You're not making yourself available anymore. It's a sorry, I can't, or you're just not responding because you're realizing that there are people in your circle that are like desperately grabbing your attention, and you don't have time for it. You don't have time for it. So I feel like I said, people may feel like you're kind of MIA or you're not as accessible. I feel that this boundary that you're setting is just simply by creating that space or creating that boundary, not like where you're telling people off, not like where you're cutting people out of your life. You're just not being as available or as accessible. That's the vibe I'm feeling here with the Queen of Swords for you guys, Taurus. Your next card here is the Justice card. Wow. We got double swords here and a major arcana card. So when the major arcana cards come up, typically this is going to be a time that you're coming into a new chapter, a defining moment. This is energy that's going to be around for a while. The Justice card has to do with fairness, balance, order, Okay, it's about balanced decisions, being able to balance the head and the heart. Maybe in the past you're like, every time I listen to my heart, I get burned, right? I end up in trouble. Every time I listen to my head, I feel very unfulfilled. I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel happy. Like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But with this card, it's like you're coming into the balance. You're learning to listen to your heart, but you're approaching it in a logical way. You're approaching it with a good, solid plan. And so this is the kind of energy that's going to bring success. Traditionally, the Justice card could indicate that some of you have basically some kind of legal situation, some kind of court situation, because traditionally the Justice card can indicate victory in court or a legal situation being decided in a fair and balanced way. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, I don't make any guarantees or give any kind of legal advice, but that is one of the traditional ways that the Justice card tends to be interpreted. Now, it is also Libra energy, so I feel like if you do have a Libra placement, I feel like that's the area of your life that you're focusing on, right? That like that's where you're putting your boundaries down. That's the area of your life that you're focused on growing and moving forward with. It is a general reading, so this is going to be different for different ones of you. Maybe some of you are having a power struggle with a Libra that you're finally working out. The energies are going to come in different ways for different ones of you. Your next card here, my dear. Oh, this can also be contracts too, though. Contracts, agreements. Okay, so maybe you're not negotiating a contract, but you're like, well, if I'm gonna go along with this, if I'm gonna make this commitment, if I'm gonna accept this job or this offer or this position, here's what my requirements are. So you might be going into something very non-negotiable. Like, well, if they don't want to give it to me, I don't care. But if I'm gonna take it, then this is what my ground rules are. So some of you might be going into an agreement or a contract with very bold energy. Your next card here, my darlings, is the Empress. Double Libra energy here. Okay, this could be feminine aspect of Libra, the Empress, from what I have read. Okay, I've also read that there's a Taurus aspect to it here. So hey, right, Taurus energy. You guys who are more familiar with astrology than I am, please feel free to educate us in the comments about the astrological associations of the Empress. I'm all for anybody adding their area of expertise. I'm very open about how astrology is not my area of expertise. I read intuitively. So anybody who wants to add to the discussion in the comments, please feel free to do so. But the Emperor card here, you've got another Empress, another major arcana card here. This is a significant crossroads for you. Now we have major arcana cards coming in back to back. And when that happens for me, in my readings, you're going through a really, really significant karmic shift. And I know some of you are looking at this reading and you're applying it to your love life. Feel free to do that. I don't focus on love and romance in the weekly forecasts. I do the love readings separately. The love readings for March are linked in the description. Feel free to check those out. But I feel like you're going through a karmic shift in every area of your life. It's not just going to be about love life, okay? And this is coming into a higher power. This is about coming into like realizing, because the thing about the Empress is she doesn't answer to anybody. There's nobody above her. She doesn't even answer to the Emperor. She answers to nobody. There's nobody above her but God, right? There's nobody above her. And so a lot of you are coming into this level of authority, this level of power, this level of confidence, right? You don't owe an explanation to anybody. You don't need permission or validation from anybody. And you're moving forward with your ideas, your projects, your creativity. The Empress is one of those self-employment cards for me, okay? It can also indicate traditionally traditionally motherhood and fertility, okay? So maybe some of you are creating boundaries around the mother of your child. You're not allowing family or friends to interfere or create drama. Maybe some of you are stepping into your own mother energy, right? Maybe you're coming into protective mama bear energy, where it's like, don't get involved with my kids, don't come in here with your opinion, leave my family alone. Some of you might be setting boundaries around a mother, or you might be a mother setting boundaries around your children. Okay, it's funny to me too, though, because the Queen of Swords for me is sometimes like a mother-in-law kind of card. So maybe some of you are in a situation where right now you're having to live with extended family, right? And there could be issue here or drama here with like separation of the families, because there might be more than one family under the same roof. And I feel like for those of you that you're in that situation, there's some kind of an agreement that you're coming to, and there's some kind of a boundary that's being set, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you what to do with your family, you don't tell me what to do with my family, kind of thing. There could be a family dynamic or conflict that's being resolved, or where there's boundaries being placed in that way as well. But the Empress can be, for me, like creating your dynasty, creating your empire, okay? And taking charge of it. It could also be that you're moving forward on a project or idea without anybody else's advice, without anybody else's opinion, without anybody else's input. Like, this is your baby and you're taking charge of it in terms of creative ideas or projects. It could be being very exalted too, in terms of like a high level of promotion or a business that's really, really taking off. Your next card here, my darlings, is the World. Wow, look at this. Back-to-back major arcana, Taurus. And these are all very positive major arcana, right? Sometimes we get the major arcana and we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a roller coaster, or this is going to sting, this is going to be painful. But you have, this is like climbing upstairs on a staircase, going higher and higher, right? So the World card here is ending some kind of karmic cycle, learning that lesson once and for all, and now you're ready to move on. Now you're free, right? Now you're ready to be seen, be appreciated, be celebrated. The World card comes in with the energy of feeling comfortable in your own skin, being ready for positive recognition. Some of you have been working on something for a very long time, and you're finally putting it out there, and you don't give a single, crap about what anybody else thinks about it. You don't care if people are going to like it or not. You don't care if people in your life are going to understand it or not, or if they're going to judge it. You're like, this is it. This is what I have. I'm proud of it. I like it. It's good enough for me, and I'm putting it out there. For some of you, it's yourself. You're putting yourself out there. Like, I'm good enough as I am. I like where I'm at. I'm proud of the work I've done, and I'm going to get out there and I'm going to live my life. Some of you have had this ongoing cycle or pattern within a living arrangement or with a family situation where you leave and you get pulled back in. You leave and you get pulled back in. You leave and you get pulled back in. Maybe for some of you, it's a job. But I feel for some of you, it could be more like a family matter or family affairs, or like you move away and end up having to move back in. You're breaking out of that cycle once and for all. And a lot of this has to do with you being seen. You may be going down a path that your family or friends might not understand, they might not approve of, but you're like, you know what, to heck with it. This is who I am. I'm not going to hide anymore. Taurus, you guys have to refresh my my memory. I don't know if it was you guys last week, but one of the signs had a message about like coming out of the spiritual closet or metaphysical closet, right? Where you were coming out and being more open about your beliefs, right? Like, I don't care if people think it's kooky, or you're wanting to do some kind of spiritually based work and you're not going to hide that you're doing it anymore, and like doing it more in the open. I think it may have been for Taurus. And so this might be a continuation of that. I can't remember which sign it was for, though. I think it was you guys. But I'm getting that same vibe again here in this message. Like, maybe it's not spiritual work. Maybe it's some line of work that you've been wanting to do. I know a lot of cultures have like this thing where they look down on certain careers or fields. It's like, if you're not a doctor, or if you're not a scientist or an engineer, then you're nobody, right? So they're always encouraging their kids to go into those professions. And you might say, you know what? I'm really talented and I really want to go into the arts. And I don't care if people think I'm a loser. I don't care if people don't have respect for the work that I'm doing. It makes me happy. It makes the people that like my work happy. And that's what I want to do. But it's like you're not looking for that validation. You're not looking for that permission. And you're just living authentically as who you are. And that's bringing in success, because you're being in your flow, you're being in your element. So I would encourage you, Taurus, to watch your moon sign and rising sign videos. Some weeks those may resonate with you more than others. You may need a private reading, which I'm more than happy to do for you. If you want to go to calendly.com/amethystangelite, you can schedule a private reading with me there. I will have it also listed in the description of the video. If you want like a deeper love and romance kind of reading, the March readings are up. I have the playlist linked in the description. And I'm going to try to get the April love readings out a little bit early. So hopefully in the next week or so, you guys will start to see the April love readings popping up. But I thank you all for watching, liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to watch the weeklies. I really like doing the weeklies because I feel like it's helpful to have more than just love and romance. But watch what you're drawn to, watch what you find beneficial, watch what you enjoy. I thank you all for being here, liking, subscribing, commenting. Thanks, my darlings. My tongue is tied. Thank you, my darlings, for watching. Take care and have a good week.